President Obama rejecting the advice of some of his top military advisors, but General Petraeus himself, and announcing plans to bring home 10,000 troops from Afghanistan by the end of this year and more than 20,000 by the end of next summer. So how will the president's plan shift our tactics there? And is it really a good idea? Retired General Jack Keane is the former Vice Chief of Staff of the Army and a Fox News military analyst, good friend of David Petraeus. General, what's the big deal? Only 10,000 troops. How will that affect everything in the theater? There's still tons of troops left there.
The problem is simply this. We're conducting two major campaigns in Afghanistan, one in the south against the Taliban network, which we have largely defeated in the last 18 months. The momentum is on our side. And because the president gave us 30,000 versus 40,000 troops, we were not able to conduct this year a simultaneous campaign against the Haqqani network east of Kabul. So our plans were to do that next year, reinvest the forces that we're using in the campaign in the south this year against that network next year. Those are the plans. The reduction in forces to 10,000 now, and certainly the 20,000 by September of next year, puts all of that strategy at risk. The tragedy of it is we're winning this thing. The momentum is clearly in our favor, and the president's decision undermines the counterinsurgency strategy that he asked General Petraeus to execute, which those troops are doing remarkably well.
General Petraeus was not even mentioned in the speech last night. How significant is that in terms of wondering where his support lies?
Well, look, we can assume Secretary Gates was on your network last weekend talking about his recommendation was for a modest withdrawal.
Token.
We can assume that General Petraeus' recommendation was also probably for a modest withdrawal, somewhere around 3,000 to 5,000 troops. Certainly this decision by the president is repudiating those decisions by his field commanders and by his secretary.
Now, at the end of, by 2012, in the middle of a fighting season, soldiers are going to be coming out, which is bizarre. And on top of that, the election's going to be happening. And some people on the sideline who don't have the military experience of you say, what's the big deal? There's still 70,000 troops in theater. Can't they handle 20,000 Taliban?
The fact of the matter is the Taliban are spread out, connected to the people. The counterinsurgency warfare, the nature of these kinds of wars soaks up lots of troops because you have to deal with very decentralized down at squad and platoon level. That is why the president made the right decision in giving General Petraeus the additional forces, the additional 30,000 that he needed to conduct the campaign. The fact of the matter is the ratios of your forces to the enemy's forces, it's got to be rather significant.
General, describe this. People at home say, look, war fatigued. We're war fatigued and we're standing on the sidelines. The people fighting the war, they must be, you put that to the 10th power. Do you think people inside the military on some level are celebrating that the president talked about 2014 being the end of the conflict and the beginning of the end starting now?
Look, these kind of wars certainly test the mettle of the American people in any democracy because they're protracted wars and they're ambiguous in terms of are you making progress, are you not? What is the definition of success? That's the ambiguity that deals with these kind of wars. But the enemy has selected these kind of wars because they're so challenging for us. That's the reality of it. Our troops are not exhausted. Our troops are fighting and fighting exceptionally well, and they have a winning hand, and they know it. They know they've lost their teammates and their buddies have been maimed and wounded catastrophically. They want to win this thing. So the talk about troops are exhausted, we got to bring them home, that's rubbish. These troops are there fighting hard, and they have the will to win, and they have the right strategy to win. What they need is the right numbers to win.
All right. General Jack Keane, thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, good to see you.
I know you can't be happy about some of the elements of the speech. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Meanwhile, straight ahead.